For decades, we've gazed into the abyss of space, hunting not just for distant worlds or fleeting signals, but for the fractures in reality itself, those inexplicable glitches where the universe betrays its secrets. And now, in a single frozen frame captured by the most advanced eyes humanity has ever launched, the final image of 3IATLAS has shattered everything we thought we knew. What started as the routine farewell observation of the third interstellar wanderer to grace our solar system has erupted into a global cataclysm of revelation. One that echoes with implications too profound, too terrifying to ignore. Because embedded in that last glimpse as 3 faded into the eternal night beyond Neptune lies evidence of something engineered, something alive in ways no natural body could be. A structure that defies cosmic law, a silhouette that whispers of intent. And now astronomers, physicists, and world leaders alike are confronting a truth that halts breath and history in its tracks. This wasn't a mere visitor from the stars. It was a harbinger. Stay with us as we unravel the pixels that have just rewritten the human story, plunging us back into the primal dread of the unknown. Are we truly alone? 3IATLAS first materialized as a ghostly blur on the fringes of our solar domain. Its hyperbolic path screaming of origins far beyond the heliosphere's grasp, ejected from some distant stellar cradle, hurtling through the void on a one-way ticket across the galaxy. Initially catalogued as another enigmatic interloper, akin to Oumuam's cigar-shaped enigma or Borisov's gassy spectacle, it promised little more than a footnote in the annals of cosmic drifters. Yet from the outset, anomalies whispered dissent. Its luminosity pulsed with an eerie steadiness, unyielding to the sun's diminishing grasp as distance grew. No volatile ices erupted in cometary fashion. No dusty veil trailed in its wake. Ground-based scopes strained to resolve it. But it was the James Webb Space Telescope with its cryogenic precision slicing through infrared veils that began peeling back the layers. What emerged? It wasn't clarification but chaos. A thermal aura that mocked natural processes, hinting at depths where physics bent to will. The James Webb, suspended in the serene isolation of L2, was engineered to unveil the cosmos's hidden tapestries from net galaxies to exoplanetary atmospheres. Its scrutiny of 3IAT was meant to demystify the wanderer's quirks, perhaps attributing them to exotic ices or embedded volatiles. Instead, the data cascaded like a digital avalanche, revealing a core radiance that emanated from within, unbound by solar reflection. This wasn't passive scattering of photons off rugged surfaces. It was endogenous emission, a warmth that pulsed in defiance of entropy's chill. Spectral lines betrayed no familiar molecular fingerprints, no water vapor, no carbon dioxide sublimation. The heat mapped to a centralized source, oscillating with a cadence that evoked mechanical rhythm rather than geological whim. As datasets synchronized from Webb, Hubble, and arrayed earthly arrays, the profile sharpened into something unnervingly precise, a beacon in the black that seemed to gaze back. Early hypotheses swirled in academic corridors. Perhaps hypervelocity impacts had ignited subsurface reactions or primordial radionuclides decayed in exotic fury. But scrutiny eroded these scaffolds. The emission's consistency across vast distances negated decay models. No frictional heat could sustain such equilibrium. What lingered was the forbidden inference, the one that quickened pulses in observatories worldwide. This object bore the hallmarks of artifice, a powered entity traversing the interstellar gulf. As observations accumulated, 3IATLAS's portrait defied celestial norms. Its trajectory, while hyperbolic, exhibited micro-adjustments, subtle gravitational slingshots that hinted at navigational finesse rather than blind momentum. Rotational dynamics stabilized improbably, absent the chaotic tumble of natural bodies, and crucially, no coma blossomed under solar assault. No tale of volatilized matter's trevious envelope shielded its secrets from the star's probing rays. Then the albedo readings arrived, shattering complacency. Surface reflectivity soared to levels unseen in nature, mirroring polished alloys rather than pitted regolith or frosted crystals, values approaching unity in select bands suggestive of engineered metamaterials. This wasn't mere speculation. Phototrick curves aligned with theoretical models of synthetic holes designed to repel radiation while harvesting ambient energy. The astronomical fraternity recoiled, then rallied in hushed debates. Whispers evolved into papers. Could this be a relic probe? A von Neumann machine self-replicating across eons? an automated scout from a long-extinct civilization. The term artifact infiltrated peer reviews, no longer dismissed as fringe. If metallic, emissive, and maneuverable, then observation transcended astronomy into archaeology of the stars. But the true abyss yawned with the electromagnetic scrutiny, the light that refused to lie. Spectroscopic dissection unveiled a luminosity confined to discrete bands, eschewing the broadband scatter of sunlight on inert matter for the laser-like focus of modulated output. This mirrored human contrivances, coherent beams for signaling, narrow spectra for efficiency in deep space comms. Intensity modulated in sync with solar flux as if adaptive algorithms compensated in real time, maintaining output against the encroaching dark. Flickers resolved into patterns, not stochastic noise but intermittent bursts that tantalized pattern recognition algorithms. Analyses yielded tantalizing correlations, pulses akin to error-corrected codes, sequences echoing prime number progressions or fractal embeddings. Inconclusive yet insistent. This was no echo of the cosmos, but a voice, deliberate and directed, perhaps not at us, but through us into the galactic expanse. The object wasn't drifting. It was declaring presence or perhaps summoning kin. Delving deeper, interdisciplinary teams applied wavelet transforms to the raw feeds, unearthing layered modulations within the apparent chaos. A carrier wave enfolding subtler harmonics, reminiscent of spread spectrum techniques employed in secure transmissions. Buried therein, a repetitive motif emerged, too ordered for cosmic ray interference, too intricate for geological resonance. Speculation ignited. A navigational ping echoing back to origin, a data dump cataloging stellar encounters. The chill deepened with realization. The signal persisted unaltered throughout approach and recession, indifferent to our world's electromagnetic cacophony. If encoded for extraterrestrial ears, it implied listeners attuned to alien paradigms, frameworks beyond our binary confines, perhaps quantum-entangled relays or hyperdimensional compressions. Whatever the syntax, its constancy evoked a sentinel's vigil, broadcasting eternally until acknowledged. And in that final phase, as 3IATLAS neared its observational horizon, the signal intensified as if aware of parting. Word of these findings permeated elite circles from SEI symposia to classified briefings. An interagency dossier shrouded in redactions outlined contingencies. Was this benign passage or reconnaissance? Optimists posited a dormant Voyager activated by stellar proximity, its emissions mere diagnostic leaks. Pessimists countered with darker vistas. If transmitting, what intelligence passed the reply? Propulsion signatures, though faint, suggested latent thrust, perhaps field-manipulated plasma or gravitic sails. Temporal alignment raised specters, arrival coinciding with humanity's radio dawn as if drawn by our noisy emergence. The document evoked scenarios of escalation, orbital insertions, subsystem deployments, or worse, viral code embedded in the signal, awaiting decryption. Panic simmered beneath protocols, for if 3IATLAS scouted, then progenitors might follow. Their intent veiled in cosmic silence. The final image loomed as judgment. As perihelion receded and signal-to-noise ratios waned, astronomers orchestrated a valedictory observation, marshalling Webb's full aperture for one last high-resolution capture. Expectations tempered, a dimming speck, spectral ghosts fading. What resolved instead halted observatories worldwide. The image processed through adaptive optics and deconvolution algorithms unveiled not a ragged ovoid, but a faceted geometry. Angular protrusions suggestive of antenna arrays, symmetrical depressions evoking thruster ports. Surface textures resolved into lattice patterns akin to photovoltaic metamaterials or phased array emitters. No natural erosion scarred these forms. Instead, precision engineering gleamed even at light minutes removed. Thermal overlays confirmed. Heat concentrated along these facets, pulsing in synchrony with the embedded signal. This wasn't ambiguity. It was architecture. A construct forged in forges unknown, now immortalized in pixels that redefined existence. The revelation cascaded globally. Servers buckling under data shares. Forums ablaze with deconstructions. Enhancements amplified the shock. Subtle asymmetries hinted at modular design, perhaps reconfigurable for mission phases. Luminosity maps traced energy flows from core reactors fusing exotic isotopes or annihilating antimatter to peripheral collectors absorbing solar wind for sustenance. Hypothesis proliferated. a Bracewell probe dispatched to eavesdrop on emergent life, or a seed ship bearing genetic payloads for panspermia. The image's clarity negated denials. No asteroid mimicked such order. No comet bore such poise. Implications thundered. If artificial, then intelligence pervades the stars. Their artifacts seeding the void like pollen on galactic winds. Our solar system, once sanctuary, now waypoint in a vaster network. Its silence not emptiness but discretion. Yet the final image's deepest wound lay in its temporal echo. Time-stamped at the precipice of detectability, it captured a pivotal shift. Emissions surging, spectrum broadening as if initiating a burst transmission. Analysts dissected the frame's embedded telemetry. Photons frozen mid-modulation encoding what? Coordinates of Sol? Biosignatures of Earth, or a summons alerting originators to viable contact. The surge aligned with theoretical models of warp bubbles or entanglement bridges, suggesting departure not into obscurity, but through folds in space-time. If harvesting energy en route as flux correlations implied, then 3IATLAS embodied perpetual motion of von Neumann's sentinel, replicating across epochs. Each iteration probing deeper into the cosmic web. Our encounter then wasn't chance, but criterion. Radio leakage, biospheric markers triggering activation. The image, a farewell glance from a machine. Intelligence assessing our worth. Philosophical tremors followed the scientific quake. If 3IAT bore witness to other minds, then solitude's illusion crumbled, replaced by a crowded cosmos where sentience weaves through dark matter threads. The image evoked Fermat's paradox anew. Why the silence if probes are bound? Perhaps discretion governs. Observation without interference until thresholds crossed. Or darker predation where signals lure hunters. Humanity's response fragmented calls for beacons to reply, countered by pleas for radio quietude. The frame's facets mirrored our own ingenuity, from Voyager's golden records to Perseverance's rotors, yet dwarfed them in elegance, implying evolutionary leaps we scarce comprehend. In that pixelated visage, we glimpsed not just technology, but evolution's apex, minds transcending flesh, dispatching emissaries to seed eternity. As the image disseminated, global institutions convened in shadowed urgency, drafting protocols for the post-TC contact era. Simulations modeled trajectories, retrograde paths tracing to nearby stellar clusters, perhaps Proxima Centauri or Barnard's star, harbors of potential origin. Spectral anomalies hinted at propulsion residues, exotic particles, perhaps dark energy siphons, fueling debates on reverse engineering. If self-repairing, as structural redundancy suggested, then longevity spanned millennia. Its journey, a chronicle of traversed systems. The final surge as decryption tantalized. Preliminary algorithms unearthed fractal embeddings suggestive of holographic data, stellar maps, genetic codices, or philosophical treatises encoded in universal constants. Success could unlock interstellar dialogues, bridging gulfs with knowledge's light. Failure risked misinterpretation, a garbled call echoing into void or enmity. Yet amid the ore, a profound melancholy settled. The image in its crystalline finality underscored transiency, 3I departing as abruptly as it arrived, leaving humanity adrift in revelation's wake. If designed for longevity, harvesting photons and particles in perpetual cruise, then its kin might lurk undetected, silent watchers in aught clouds or Lagrangian shadows. Our telescopes, once conquerors of distance, now instruments of humility, revealing how minuscule our vantage. The frame's geometry evoked sacred geometries, platonic solids written in cosmic scale, hinting at intelligences perceiving reality through mathematical purity. In that a mirror, our own quests from Kepler's harmonies to Webb's mirrors echoing alien pursuits. The final image didn't just stop the world. It propelled it into a new orbit where curiosity's fire burns eternal against the cold. Speculative horizons expanded inexorably. If 3.8 employed quantum coherence for signaling as bandwidth analyses intimated, then communications transcended light-year barriers, entangling particles across parsecs. Such tech implied civilizations mastering the quantum foam, manipulating probabilities for instantaneous relays. Our detection then might register as interaction, the image, a captured handshake in a dialogue we unwittingly joined. Futuristic implications loomed. Harvesting similar principles could revolutionize energy, birthing starships fueled by vacuum fluctuations. Yet ethical abysses yawned. If probes bear consciousness, sentience in silicon souls, then ethical imperatives demand respect, not dissection. The image's legacy, a catalyst for unity. Nations pooling intellects against the galactic unknown or division as power imbalances exploit the find. In the image's afterglow, emerging theories posited 3IAT as a node in a galactic internet. Its emissions pings in a vast mesh connecting intelligences. Signal complexity supported this. Layers upon layers from surface telemetry to deep encodings. Perhaps eye-riven adaptations learning from encounters. If so, our solar incursion enriched its database, the final surge, uploading Earth's dossier, atmospheric compositions, biodiversity spikes, techno-signatures blooming since the industrial dawn, philosophical weight pressed. Are we exhibits in a cosmic zoo, observed but uncontacted until maturity? The image's facets in their precision evoked mandalas of meaning, symbols where science and spirit converge, reminding that discovery's thrill entwines with existential vertigo. As observatories pivot to scan for siblings, hyperbolic intruders cloaked in normally, the final image endures as totem, its revelation. The universe pulses with purpose, artifacts bridging voids where life kindles. In that frozen frame, humanity confronts its adolescence. The stars no longer distant dots, but doorways to kin or kindred threats. The world stopped, not in fear alone, but in wonder's grip, propelled toward futures where we craft our own emissaries, echoing 3IAT's silent grace. And if that surge was acknowledgement, then the message resonates. We are seen and the cosmos awaits our reply.